So here I am once again in Newfoundland in Gros Morne. Just got dropped off by a taxi at Western Brook Pond. So now I'm making that walk to the edge of the pond. And yeah, I'll be getting ready for the boat ride there. Okay, so I just got let off by the boat. Now I'm going through the little forest at the bottom of the gorge. And there's a solid amount of bugs around, but who cares? I'm on the move. So not gonna be too much trouble. So my general mood at the moment is very positive. As soon as we got near the end, I was actually excited to start this hike, so I'm very happy about that because I was pretty nervous going into it. But I'm feeling some good memories flowing back to me from doing this last year. And yeah, I'm just excited to get to the top, really. So, walking through this ridiculous field of flowers, I'm remembering when I did this last time, and my GPS actually fell off my pack. Somehow I managed to find it in all of this underbrush. But yeah, lesson learned, that's not gonna happen again. So this is when I start to regret wearing the turtleneck as my base layer. But yeah, I always end up sweating anyways, so who cares really. But as I was coming up out of that flower area, I saw my buddies Doug and Sarah coming up, so they shouldn't be too far behind me, which is good news. So far, haven't gotten lost. It feels kind of like I'm doing an annual migration, actually. Just vaguely remembering exactly where to go. Yeah, hopefully that continues, but this gorge section is by far the easiest to navigate because it's the most trafficked, so I don't think I'll have any problems. But you never know. There's still lots of downed trees that kind of throw things off. Got my first batch of wild blueberries. back to going uphill. I'm pretty sure I'm nearing the waterfall, so we're actually getting pretty close. This has really flown by, surprisingly enough. And then this is the view looking backwards. Just took a tumble, almost died, so I'm gonna have a little breather, collect myself, and then carry on. I was finally able to rally myself and make it to the waterfall, but oh man, kind of exhausted. Almost done though, so I just gotta power through and then have some snacks, recuperate. Making good progress. I'm at least halfway from the waterfall to the top of the gorge. And yeah, I hate this section so much. But the one nice thing is there's so many sideways trees and roots that you almost always have something to grab onto for support. So I'll let you know how it goes from here. Getting closer. At this stage, the only thing keeping me going is the thought of more blueberries, because I'm dying. All right, I did it. Now to find out where I'll put up camp and get posted up for some photos. So I just did a little photo shoot for the tent company that I'm working with. Yeah, I think it turned out all right. But anyways, I'm gonna continue up to the top of the gorge now and get set up for the sunset photos. I will probably come back for the tent, but for now I'm just gonna leave it here. Yeah, saves 4 pounds of weight, so no harm done. I found the exact viewpoint that I want, where you can see all the way across the water without it overlapping. So that is awesome. But to get here, my beautiful sandals and feet got pretty soaked and muddy. But yeah, better this than my boots, because at least these can dry out no problem. I think I'm gonna hunker down, take a bunch of shots with my different lenses on hand, and yeah, just have a nice time. It's really beautiful up here. So yeah, we'll enjoy it as best I can. So the sun is just about to set. Got some pretty good pictures, I think. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna leave the tent where it is right now. Yeah, it's not super far. I think I'm about 180 meters away from it right now. And it's right beside the stream, so I can refill all my water, which will make life a lot easier. So head back there once I'm done with the photography side of it. Wash my feet, wash the sandals, pack in for bed, and be ready to get up super early and do it all again tomorrow. So I forgot my mic somewhere in my bag. I'll get it out in a bit, but I want to finish this section first. So basically, I slept down there somewhere, and not the greatest sleep of my life, but now I'm continuing on to get to the point I was last night to get some of this light hitting the cliffs. Looks quite beautiful though. Okay, so I'm back in action. Just snapped off a couple pictures. But I think now I'm gonna have some breakfast. And yeah, take this in. It's not too windy, so not getting too cold. And yeah, just gonna enjoy the view a little bit longer before I start heading south. Farewell, old friend. So this area is definitely pretty moist. It's very muddy, but compared to this distance on the Northern Traverse and that wetlands marshy area, it's a breeze. This was very close to a bad fall, but I survived. So it's about 8:45 and I'm approaching LR5, which is generally supposed to be the first campsite. So we'll see if the people I came here with are still there. So I'll stop by, say hello, and then carry on. I don't want to linger too long anywhere because today, for sure, I want to cover the most ground. Hopefully get to, I think LR11 or 12 would be the ideal campsites for me. Just anything with one of the camping pads because I don't want to be on the wet ground. So I think the campsite's gonna be just beyond the ridge over here. So getting closer. So this section has been extremely boggy, but not too terrible. Feet are still dry, no falls. Yeah, it's about as good as you can want, really. So I just made it to LR6. Yeah, it's actually a pretty nice campsite. I think, yeah, it looks like this site behind is a little bit nicer. Anyways, I'm not too concerned about that because I will not be sleeping here. I'll hang out here for 5 or 10 minutes and plan out my next few stops and where I want to have lunch in probably about an hour and a half or 2 hours. And yeah, hopefully keep the feet dry as best I can. So I did get tricked by one false trail, so I had a little detour, but back in action here, slowly approaching LR7. So I think it's about 200 meters from here, so should be there shortly. So I don't know when it happened, but my feet are soaked now. Maybe it was sweat, maybe my foot got dunked a little too much, I don't know. But I'm not super happy about it. Just hanging out at the random cabin still, and then I'll be heading over to the campsite at LR8 and carrying on. I think it's about 7 kilometers or so before I get to my actual campsite. So there's a lot of trekking ahead and probably not too many stops. I got tricked by another moose trail. So just wasted like, I don't know, at least 15-20 minutes. There's so many footprints on it too, so I know I'm not the first one, but it's just so frustrating. I really need to keep the GPS on hand at all times. So let's get into that part of the hike where questioning my will to live a little bit. Yeah, there's a lot of uphills here and my thighs are burning. But yeah, just eyeing that campsite for the night and then ready to relax 100%. I'm now at LR9 and it is super windy up here, so hopefully you can hear this. Anyways, I thought I was really behind schedule. Now I'm a bit on the fence. Should be okay, just gotta keep breaks to 5 minutes or so and should be all right for this evening. The view up here, pretty gorgeous though. So it's even windier now. Making progress through the sludge and looking forward to running into my friends again because this is very draining to do solo. So as you might be able to tell, I decided to have a little rest stop for the night. This is LR11. So not quite as far as I wanted to go, but my feet were just, yeah, very tender. So I'm set up here for the night, still haven't had supper, but I really need to lay down. So gonna be chilling here. Yeah, definitely going to bed early and gonna have an early morning. So hopefully can get finished on time. Okay, so I'm up now. It's bright and somewhat early. I think it's about 7:30. Just getting ready to pack up the tent and then I'll be good to go. So I'll probably wait around for my friends here so we can take off together. So as you might be able to see, it's pretty foggy up in the hills. But I don't think there's too much high ground left, so we should be pretty safe, but it is still raining a bit, so gonna be even muddier than usual and a lot to look forward to. So I just crossed the river that I didn't have the energy to cross last night, and it was as cold as expected. So I made it to LR12. That didn't take long at all. It actually looks quite nice. The platforms are huge and level. Better than some of the other ones I saw earlier on the trail. Yeah, either way, did not end up sleeping here, so I guess it doesn't matter too much. Okay, so the rain has slightly slowed down. I'm about 3/4 of the way to the next campsite though, so making good progress. Probably won't be able to hear me shit right now, but that right there is Gros Morne Mountain. So I'm near the end of the long range and then I'll continue on the Gros Morne Mountain Trail on the way up. So yeah, I'm feeling really good. I'm almost there. I think it's probably 6 kilometers or so. So should be able to finish in another hour or 2 at most. Looking good. So I thought I was making good progress, but I just checked the GPS and I'm about maybe a third of the way and it's been half an hour. Probably about another hour or so until I am home free. Energy is depleting, but yeah, I'm really much looking forward to closing this off. And that's a lot further than I wanted to see. So after the disappointment of seeing that 4-kilometer marker, I had a quick break, reassess where I'm at physically, and yeah, now I'm carrying on. Hopefully it's only about 45 minutes, but who knows? The terrain is just not the most enjoyable, just loose, wet rocks. So yeah, it wouldn't be surprising if it takes another hour. Feels a little weird finally being in a forest where the trees are taller than me, but it's quite peaceful in here. So this section's just a little bit muddy. I have a feeling this means I'm getting close. Okay, so with that, I think I'm about probably 100 meters from the trailhead. And I could not be more excited. Okay, that's it. Yeah, a little bit behind schedule, but I finished. Very psyched about it. And I'll probably have to do a little sit-down recap afterwards, just to confirm some of the statistics and distance and elevation gain and all that fun stuff. So, peace out for now. So obviously I'm back home now and I've had some time to let it all sink in. I ended up not being super concerned with some of the technical details, total elevation gain and total distance and all of that stuff. Really, unless something severe or strange is going on, it's probably going to take you 2 nights. Really needless to say, but the best view is at LR4. If you're looking to do either of the hikes, either the long range traverse or the northern traverse, I would recommend trying to stay there at the top of the gorge on the bedrock if possible, if the conditions permit it. But if not, either if you're doing the northern traverse, stay at NT3 or the long range traverse LR5, which does, I believe, have the camping platform. So if it's wet out, that's probably your best bet, to be near the top of the gorge, but still have decent sleeping conditions. But ultimately, what you want to do is be there ideally for sunset on the first night and sunrise if possible on the second morning. It's an experience that can't really be replicated anywhere else, so I can wholeheartedly say that there's enough time to spend it there, and that's the best use of the time you spend there. So there's really no better option. But yeah, once you're ready to move forward and you're doing the long range, I would say the LR 11 and 12 is a pretty good second night. LR 11 has the advantage, good water access. It's right on the river, so it makes setting up camp for that night very, very easy. The only problem is then as soon as you want to proceed, you have to then cross the river and you're going to be wet because there are some rocks that you can cross partially with, but probably not going to be able to make it all the way across without doing some fording. After that, the last day section, kind of hard for me to judge based on the hike I did do. It was just such terrible weather. It was pouring, there was so much cloud cover, all the fog and everything. I didn't get necessarily the views that might be offered. It was still a pretty interesting experience to see that environment, but yeah, it might have looked more beautiful than I had the chance to see. The one nice thing about that last section though, from LR12 onward, is there seemed to be a lot of wildlife, which for me makes things always a bit more interesting, especially if you're doing it solo as I was at this section. All in all, it's one of my favorite hikes in Canada. It feels like that authentic backcountry experience. There's, not too many things in the way of trail markers. You are relying on your navigation skills quite a lot. And it has that contrast of the backcountry side, but also at the top of the gorge, you get that kind of magazine cover, incredible view. And there's not too many places I know of, even in the world in general, that offer both of those things in one experience. The difficulty is there if you don't have too much experience in the backcountry, but it's not overwhelmingly so, because the distance for long range in particular is about 35 or 40 kilometers. So as long as you're not massively overpacking, your body hopefully shouldn't fall apart in that amount of time. And then you just are left with, probably wet feet and just an incredible experience of something that is very unique. And Canada and the world abroad doesn't offer too many experiences like that. So if you happen to give it a try, let me know what your experience is like. See ya.